Have you ever wanted to add a touch of elegance to your sleeve designs? Well, this Sassy Sleeve Saturday, we are going to be drafting a petal sleeve in Clo3D. Hi, I'm Christina, and I love to digitally apparel pattern, creating unique pieces of wearable art. And I especially love sleeves. Now, I have drafted this before in Illustrator, but we're going to show you how much quicker and easier it is in Clo3D. And if you want to follow along, you can definitely grab a half scale. I have them for sale in the description below. So let's go ahead and bring up my Clo3D and my sloper pattern here I have. And we're just going to be focusing on the sleeve today. And maybe later we'll actually go through and do some variations to this petal sleeve, because that can be really fun. So since we already have it, I'm just going to highlight, and then we're going to go in and we're just going to add some internal lines that we can either cut away or we might trace them. There's a few different ways you can do it. Before I do that, actually, we are going to add a notch because I want that underseam to be the same length, and I'm going to go for, we're going to go 2 inches. So we're just going to click that. Then we're going to do it again. We're going to do 2 inches. There we go. That way I know my guideline will be the same on both sides, so that when you either sew it together on the underseam, or if you decide to merge it together, that it still stays the same. Then we're going to pick up our pattern. We're going to just trace, and I'm just going to go like that and give it a nice curve. Yeah. Then we're going to do the same to the other side. And this is where you can go fun. You can either have it come up here and go a little bit shorter so it's a little bit more asymmetrical, or you can draft it so it's much more symmetrical, hitting right in the middle. I'm going to draft it so that it's a little bit more asymmetrical towards the front. So I'm going a little bit smaller up here and a little bit bigger back there. Then what we're going to do, now that I have those, there's a couple of different ways you can do this in Clo. You can either duplicate the sleeve pattern. I'll actually do both. So the first way is we're going to copy, paste, let's just move over here. And then once you have it pasted, we're going to cut, and that's one side. So we can delete that. And then this time we're going to highlight the other seam, and we're going to cut, and we're going to delete, gotta select it first, delete that. So then you have these 2 little pattern pieces, like just right there. For that, I am going to Control undo that just one more so that I can paste one more sleeve, so that I can show you the other way. So we're going to actually then recut that, select, delete, and then we have the 2 sleeves there. Now the other way you can create a petal sleeve in Clo is with the trace. So we're going to trace this one. So we're going to hit the trace button, and then we're going to hit and hold shift while we trace all of the lines that we want to create a pattern. Right click, trace as a pattern. It's going to pull down, and then we're going to do the exact same to the other side. Right click, trace as a pattern. Boom, boom, boom. And you do still have those guidelines. This one's when you do it this way, it pulls the entire line. So we can just go in and delete those as we need. And that is how quick and easy it is to actually draft a petal sleeve. Now, the thing is, you actually want to sew it onto your Clo avatar so you can see what it's going to be doing. So the first thing that we're going to do, and I made 2 of the same sleeves. So we're just going to move that up and pull these, and we're going to make a symmetric pattern like so. And then we're going to I'm just going to pull them up here. So the first thing that we know, we're going to sew the underarm seam. Because of Clo, I'm not actually going to merge it together because it'll be easier to have that underarm seam to get it to lap the way I'm hoping it will lap. Then the next thing, I'm going to move to the other sewing. I'm going to sew the back up to the cap, like so. They are currently twisted on the opposite sides. That's okay. But then we're going to also sew from here to here. And I'm just going to go a little bit less. I should have actually marked that out because on the cap of your sleeve, you do want that just ease over the shoulder cap to help it ease in. I should have marked that out on my pattern before I started. I did not. So I'm just going to have it go a little bit less. So there's a little bit more cap than it is sewing onto the sleeve. That way it's giving that little bit of ease. And then we're going to sew the front on top. So we're going to sew here to here, and then this little guy to that little guy. And that's again going to be this front, and I'm going to go a little bit less so there's just that little bit of ease. So now I have it all sewn in. We actually need to place it on our avatar. So right now, I'm going to grab these two guys and bring them down over there. And we're going to hide the 3D patterns of that so that they are not in our way. And there we go. Let's see here. Let's twist these guys. Now, I have not tried, but we're going to go ahead and turn on our body dots and see if we can get did that go on the way I wanted it to? It actually looks like it did. So, and if I put the same one I'm going to put the other one, if I can get it, and let's pull that up. Yeah, so what I'm actually going to do is we're going to come on. You're going to let me. So right now it's going on curved, and I want to have it go on flat because then I think I'm going to be able to manipulate it a little bit better. So I'm going to have them both go on flat. And what if I put you on the back like so? Well, it's probably going to collide if I just go from here, but we're going to take a test and just see what happens. So it did, well, it actually didn't collide, but it also put the opposite one on top that I wanted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull this one up. Let's see what it did on the other side. So the other side, I actually put it on top like I was hoping for it to do. So let's try that again. And there we go. We actually got it. So it is right on top. Now that is a little bit shorter than I was thinking it would be. And you can kind of tell right there is probably, yeah, right at that point. Let's see. I want to see that point. Let's see the sewing. Yeah, so that point where it's dipping in like that is actually right where I finished the sewing. So that's where the inner inside is finishing its sewing. So it's just doing something a little bit cranky right there, which we would probably be able to fix, whoops, and finalize by, there's a few ways you could probably work with that, but that's just, it's pulling there and not pulling this. So one thing, you could lower this tulip part of the sleeve. It's actually quite baggy right down here. So I kind of want to just go ahead and let's shrink this a little bit. So I'm going to stop simulating and let's pull this in. Let's only go 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to go to the other one and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go 3/4 of an inch. Give that a try. Let's simulate it. And now it's really folding in on itself. There it goes. Now it's dropping out. It's also probably just enough in this pattern that I need to probably actually take a little bit of fullness out of my bodice right there. But that is not for today. So we're going to, so that we can see our, we're going to add a fabric. And we're going to just change the color up so that we can more easily see it. And then we are going to add and there we have it. We now have our purple petal sleeves on her. Then you can actually edit these sleeves very quickly. Oh, let me stop simulating so my computer stops revving up like crazy. But that is how fast and easy you can do petal sleeves. They're so much fun. I love the detailing that they do. They're that they just create this fun little unique thing. If you were to actually want to sew them together, so if you were to print out this pattern and you didn't want to have a seam under there, because it's in Clo, we're having the seam, but all you would have to do is highlight those two edges and hit merge. It's going to think about it, and there you have it. So because I took in that underseam so much, it's actually giving quite a bit of not that smooth transition. So that's also probably what's giving me a little bit of this crankiness down here. So it would be much better to actually go through and smooth out that area. Because if you don't have that smooth transition, it's going to cause you problems in the long run in your patterns. So that's always something you want to think about and something you want to really pay attention to when you are doing your final patterns. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe so you can see other sassy sleeves or other ways you can digitally apparel pattern. If you want to mess around with your own half-scale pattern, you can definitely find the link down below so that you can grab it and start messing around digitally either in Illustrator or in Clo3D. I look forward to seeing you in some of my other videos. Happy patterning!